Alright everyone, it is I, Schroeder Jasper Valentine, and today, we're going to be revisiting a liminal space map that I have visited all the way back in July, and, have actually thought was pretty alright despite being in beta, and that is Liminal Reality. Um, Now, Liminal Reality is kind of a mix of, it is a mix of two things. It's a mix of Palm Plaza, and the Organism series from Dr. Moreau. And to be honest, though it did have some issues with the map, like shorter runtime and just not having as much shit in it. Um, you know, I really thought that this was actually a pretty good map, and that there was a lot of potential later on for it to be expanded, for different things to be added, and for all that to pretty much happen with it, and for it to really go in many different directions that it could potentially go in. And well, now that it's out of beta, I decided, you know what? Perhaps I should revisit it. Perhaps I should revisit it and see just what has changed since it has left Community Lab, since it has left beta, and has become, a full-fledged map on VRC. And that is what we're going to be accomplishing today. Um, Now, to be honest, I don't really know what I'm in for. What, if anything, has changed at all. And, if anything has changed at all. Like, I really do not know. But, if nothing has really changed, then I'm gonna be a little disappointed, to be honest. Only because that's just more wasted potential from potentially really really good map. Um, so yeah, we're really gonna see what's gonna go on here, and just how much it has changed since I have last been here. So yeah, let's get to this. Let's actually do this here. Now, as you can see already, this is by far the best looking liminal space map in VRChat for two big reasons. Number one, Organism, though is the biggest, isn't exactly known for yeah. As I was saying, yeah, Organism, though is the biggest, is not exactly known for having dynamic lighting, just simply because it cannot be done at its large size. Like, everything has to be stacked just simply because it's just so hard to have so many dynamic lights going on in that scene without Unity fucking up. And also because, on top of all that, they have to be very, very mindful of, just not having too many light probes as, again, it's just a pain in the ass to put that many light probes in a map, and also it is extremely hard with the limits of Unity Engine being as they are. So yeah, it wasn't known for its visual fidelity. And number two, and more importantly, again, Dr. Moreau is not using, the best of tools. I mean, they are using pretty good tools and pretty good textures, but as far as, lighting tools, post-processing and all that jazz goes, it's not exactly up to snuff. Even if the worlds do look fantastic and are absolute just chef's kiss quality. Like, they really are just fucking phenomenal. Except for, Epilogue Chapter 2 is a weird bit for me on that part because, is a good map objectively, though there are a lot of imperfections just simply due to the fact that due to the, whole situation going on in Dr. Moreau's country, he had to basically rush out the door as soon as possible. So, yeah. Um, yeah, for those two reasons, this is, by far, much more refined map in terms of visuals. Like, it is a lot more professionally done and more detailed. However, nonetheless, Dr. Moreau's maps still have a lot of charm to them that this just doesn't. But that being said, again, it is really, really just it's really stunning, visuals wise and graphics wise. So, not like I have any actual complaints as to that. Um, but still, that is at least something to note about this map is that though it does look better visually, it just doesn't have as much charm or uniqueness as Dr. Moreau's map does. And also the aesthetic is a little all over the place too. Like you have this nice space area, you got the dingy garage, you got an office building. I mean, yeah, the aesthetic is a lot less focused than Dr. Moreau's worlds are. Like the aesthetic is just a lot more all over the place and a lot less focused and a lot less continuous than a lot of Dr. Moreau's worlds. So again, that does kind of work against it, but nevertheless is done in such a spectacular way to the point where, I could just basically disregard this. It's really good. And you're about to see what I mean when we go through this in a minute. So yeah, it's really quite something. Now the entryway here, there are a few things of note to point out here. Number one is the computer screen. This actually lets you control different features or settings for the map. Like you have chromatic aberration, you have bloom, you have tone mapping, you have contrast, saturation, exposure, motion blur, tint, and all that just on this little fucking computer screen here. And you can select it. You could play around with it. I'm not going to because when I play around with this, I have a tendency to fuck things up. And by fuck things up, I mean really bad. So yeah, not gonna play with this myself, but I did at least want to point it out. And also, if you did not notice earlier, there is a little zero-G area here. Like some kind of a little anti-gravity lift that allows you to, levitate above the ground and, just have fun flying about and just, messing around. There are also several books floating in. But yeah, there are also several books floating in it, and also what appears to be an apartment complex, or at least several apartment complexes or several apartments, balconies looking over us, like some kind of viewing area or a walkway that seems to be connected to some kind of either apartments or hallways, and not really sure what's going on there. Perhaps somebody's observing us for some weird reason or whatever. But yeah, that is pretty interesting. There's also one lit up here. But if you see, yeah, there's nothing there. So whatever it is might be like some kind of invisible entity that you're not supposed to see, or they might have just, they might have been, about to add something here, like they might have intended to add something there, but just never got around to it for some reason. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, there is a little walkway up there that is lit up like somebody is using it to observe us, which I do find rather interesting. This lobby always gets me I just love the look of this lobby. It's just so well done, especially with the floors here. Like, they really just are your kind of classic liminal space floors that you'll see in, like, the Backrooms, found footage series. um, malls, museums, that sort of shit. And for good reason too. In fact, this entire area looks kind of like some kind of museum, doesn't it? Or some kind of gallery. Except, it's dark and there's barely any light except for tilted apartment complex looking down on us and a train that is seemingly derailed and went through the ceiling. But other than that, there is really no other light sources here. Which again, not only adds a sense of eeriness to this space, but also helps you to kind of get a sense of mystery from it as well. Like, it really shows just how mysterious and, just strange this entire area is. And just, this liminal space is not for the faint of heart, as you will see later. Oh, a little plane here. An old Sopwith Camel, I believe? I could be wrong about that. But it's definitely from World War One. So I am at least assuming it is a camel. Anyway. Just because that is like the main World War II aircraft I actually know the name of. So yeah. There's also this big sculpture here. Wonder what that is of. What it's made out of. Seems to be made of some wall material or carpet. Oh, a little space lounge. But no. This is yeah, I just love this area, like the little space lounge area here. I mean, to be honest, it really is something you'd find in a liminal space. I mean, it just has this generally just alien vibe to it. Especially when no one's there. It's just got this huge glass up here that just looks phenomenal, and it's also got some little games here. None of which seem to be operational, but all of which I do recognize as real world machines, or at least most of them are real world. Anyway, some of them maybe not, but I don't know. And once again, you see that there was going to be something back here, but it just never got added for some reason. Not that subtracts any from the space. The space itself is just phenomenally done and also looks just incredible, especially with the dynamic lighting. But there was going to be something back here. They just didn't add it yet. Whatever. The way that the way that ship is positioned makes it look like makes it look like the space guy has a really really big boner. Space boner. I cannot believe I unironically said that on stream. But there you are, everyone. But nah, it's supposed to be the nose cone of the rocket ship. I know that much. Though it does look like a space boner. I'm gonna be honest. Going back here, you can really see another, huge facet of liminal spaces. That is the repeating, sort of features repeating themselves, such as like doorways, hallways repeat themselves, that sort of thing. And it's very obvious here, especially with the fact that this entire hallway appears to be mirrored almost. Because over here you have the two doors and then the one door and then one door and then no doors. And then over here you have one door and then two doors. So there appears to be some mirroring action going on here. And once again we see the benefits of the use of the light probes in full force here. Like this looks just incredible. And by and large has to be some of the best lighting I have seen in VRChat world, especially compared to Organism, even though Organism does have great lighting in its own right. It just doesn't have the dynamic or the the or the light probe components, but it still has great lighting on its own. What the fuck? There's an entire car in the wall. Not only that, but its engine makes noises too. Huh, it seems to be part of a Ferris wheel. But this really goes to show that, pretty much anything could happen in a liminal space. From a car just sticking haphazardly out of the wall to a small part of the Ferris wheel just sitting over there with a strange light coming out of it. And once again, really phenomenal lighting here. Just one of the best lit areas in the entire. Well, not one of the best lit, but it is one of the nicest looking areas in the entire map. Your name here. Now, originally, I assumed that, this was just an oversight, but no, apparently this is intentional. Like, they really meant for this to be upside down. Now we're getting more into your stereotypical backroom shit here. Especially with this office building kind of aesthetic here. Like, not only does it, just ooze the backrooms vibes, but it just has, some of the general equipment, furniture, um, and all that jazz you'd usually find in the backrooms. Now, I don't know what the fuck's up with this. I think they were mean to, put more of this behind there, or more shit behind there, but yeah, for whatever reason, there is a big black void or just big black window over there, just put there for no reason at all, and it just yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. I don't really know why they put it there, but yeah, it's just there. Seems like a placeholder, as it said, but yeah, I don't really know. But but as you can see here, the entire room is just very, very well designed. one of, if not the best, well, not gonna say one of, if not the, what the fuck? That's really trippy. But we didn't expose anything, so that's good. But that shouldn't have happened. Um, and now I just remembered to just, stay away from that car in a bottle while flying. But yeah, it's not the best layout ever, but it is certainly pretty decent. And also, as you can see here, the rainbow colored, this entire space just reminds me of the university section in Organism, especially with how it is also connected to this apartment building over here. Like, that is just peak Organism. Like, just not only apartment buildings in general, but just this particular Soviet style of apartment, or at least more Eastern style of apartment, is just that heavily reminds me of Organism or those kinds of areas. Not sure what that says, but I do really like this the car in the bottle. It's not about just really looks like something you would find in Organism or Palm Plaza. Which, by the way, the space area and the entryway do remind me heavily of Palm Plaza Mall. Like something I would see there. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that the colliders here are just very, very wonky. Um, like the card ball sucked me in for some reason, and it had to reset. Um, the pod plant I can't even go up really, as I just shown. Though it is certainly visually impressive, especially once again with how this just looks like something you would actually find in said liminal space. Though again, the colliders are pretty wonky. And there's also some other issues too with other things you'll see in a minute, but they're certainly more negligible than the issues with the pot or any of that. And also, you cannot, for some reason, get up here that easily. Yeah, they should have definitely worked on the colliders a bit more, to be honest. Though, again, for what it is worth, this is a pretty impressive little space here, and is certainly one of, and certainly does give me heavy Organism vibes. Like, it is really something that I have seen quite a bit in like Organism or those sorts of areas. Oh yeah, and you can also walk into the ladder. Unfortunately, you cannot climb it. Let's go over here first. Now this entire area is just peak Palm Plaza Mall. Like, you got the Vaporwave Pinks, you got the statues, you got the marble everywhere. Like, it's just peak Palm Plaza. Which, speaking of which, I really wish that, more maps would attempt to, kind of imitate that Vaporwave style. I mean, yeah, you got Rocket Run Fun Center, but, that one is horribly unoptimized. And in fact, was the map I was going to do before this, but, yeah, I just ran into too many optimization issues to the point where I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this instead. And you also got, a few odd retrowave maps other than that, but, besides those, and also Gumball Lounge. Though Gumball Lounge, I do have a bit of um, an incident happened there not too long ago, maybe a few months ago, and I don't really want to get into it. See, I really do wish that more maps did try and, do the Vaporwave thing. Especially liminal space maps like this, just because, that is a combination of my two favorite things. Or two of my favorite things. Liminal space, aesthetics, and, Vaporwave. I really love Vaporwave. It is really good aesthetic. And one of my absolute favorites. So yeah, if they just combine those two things, then oh my god. Or more maps combine those two things, then oh my god, I would have so many more favorite maps than I already do. That's for sure. And also, there's a couch on the ceiling. Caution, wet floor. Though the floor doesn't seem to be that wet. What the? That ride seems way too tall for any ordinary person to get in. Makes me wonder if it was ever made for an ordinary person. Or maybe it was just made for somebody with real long legs. I don't know. But yeah, this entire world is just like it appears to be a small little kids center almost, like you'd find in a mall or some other place like that. What the? Oh yeah, you can't really go up there, can ya? And I did try. There was nothing up there, unfortunately. Not really sure where that leads, but you know. Anything in the fridge? Nope. Objective. Survive. Please do work. This is a whiteboard. It's in toe picks. Not a box. Box. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. 69 plus 420. 42069. 69! My work speaks volumes. Harry! Smelly! Joe Mom! I fucking love this. Ah, this is so good. Speaking of which, I really should change my my profile pic to something from Organism at least. Oh, we have a small rec room with what appears to be some kind of space colony outside. Or rec room on a space colony, rather. Though to be honest, I think is much more is a much more, just a matter of, the world warping around it than is a space colony, only because that's way too small to be a space colony. So, yeah. I don't really think it's exactly, a space colony or anything like that, though, that's the second time I have gotten stuck. They need to do a better job of the colliders here. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't think it's so much a matter of a space colony as it is a matter of the world warping around the area. And also, there is a small little, swing set here, and a pair of slides, which, needless to say, that's pretty, interesting. Makes me wonder what exactly they were doing here. I don't know, probably, just, having a game or whatever. Though this does once again show that, very often liminal spaces do involve, warped visuals and other such shit like this that do look like something in a space colony or other such enclosed environment. Though this is very amazingly done, especially with the animated streetlights and, just the lighting in general is just all very, very well put together. It really just gives a sense of not only, believability, but also a sense of just quality with this. Just really insanely well done. And unfortunately, unlike last time, I do not have Sarah Dynamite here to use their super illuminating avatar if they still have it. Even they are currently asleep. So, yeah. My hard drive's just doing more room entry tasks. It's not checking the disk or anything. Alright, we're good. Whenever I see my hard drive start, clicking, I get very paranoid that's, doing some other shit. Also, Crimson is wanting me to do more Avies. So I might be more Abby focused over the next few days, only because he has a lot of Abbies. He's requesting from me right now. Specifically for his fiance, who, by the way, if you do not know, she is a pretty cool woman. And if you meet her sometimes, she is definitely something else. Now, granted, I do have a partner of my own, but I'm not going to name them on stream quite yet. As we haven't even gone on our first date, though. I might be more open as time passes. Huh, a little airport turnstile. You're about to see what that is all about when we go over to that. There's also a little office supply cabinet here. A really tall supply cabinet of that. Which, the way that these supply cabinets are arranged and the fact they're just there gives me really strong impressions of Organism. Like, that is just, something I would find right out of Organism. Only, again, these cabinets are slightly less detailed and more generic, only because Organism had a really specific setting and plot, apparently revolving around, like, interdimensional manipulation, interdimensional travel, that sort of thing. Whereas this, it's more just, a general backroomsy liminal spaces map in comparison. So yeah. Um, at least for now. I mean, from what I've seen, they are going to implement a story. But from what I've also seen so far, nothing much has changed as of recent, except for, more colliders that cause some slight scuffing, but that's about it. Now the handset? That is just peak Organism, especially with the way that's laid out. But no, this is really, really just breathtaking here. Like, not only do you have these little glow panels, which are in fact glow panels and not actually windows, but you also have this those big light rings and a hand reaching out to them, which just really, like, this room is just phenomenal looking, not only in how they lay it out, but also in how, just well polished it is. Okay, not exactly polished. I mean, there is some visual artifacting here and there, but other than that, it's really well done. Ah, a little sculpture made of stop signs and various other warning signs from the road. This looks kind of like some kind of a cross between a hot tub, like a lounge area, and some kind of sci-fi command room with the globe and shit. Like, it's a mix of a command center and command center, lounge, and aquarium. That's more like it. And that right there, that gives me some flashbacks to my first homeworld, Solar Cabins. Ah, those were the days. Though to be honest, and yeah, I am snacking a little on some leftover wings. I'm hungry. What more can I say? Though to be honest, the crew I did kinda, go around with back then, retrospective, they had some issues. But overall, this does speak to the visual fidelity of the world. Like it just is just so not only just so well put together, but it's just absolutely beautiful visually. I mean, you got realistic glass refraction here. Though I think they did go a little overboard with it. Like it isn't supposed to be this severe. Um, and you also got just a bunch of detailed glow here. Really reminds me of Magnetized, if you know what that world is. It's Magnetized is a really interesting world. Needless to say, it really is just something else entirely. And might check that one out again for a Halloween Horror Fest a bit. Though it's not really horror, but it does have some elements of it, at least. What the fuck? Oh, there we go. And yeah, there is some texture warping here. That's not as great though. Organism does have similar issues, so I'm not gonna be too pissed with it. Plus, it does add to the liminal nature of the world, I guess. And zero dropped frames. And now going over here, you have what appears to be a fully functional aircraft terminal, complete with a little weight over here, though it does look quite dated, and an aircraft turnstile. You also have what appears to be fully functioning seats and even a large cargo container marked Triton over here. Now, to be honest, I'm not so sure if Triton is a real brand, like for shipping and shit. So don't quote me on that, but it does. The container does look real enough, though. Is a little long to the point where it could be very much like a real shipping company. But overall, this does, it just really does look like an actual airport lobby. Well, mostly like somewhere you would be waiting for, a flight to arrive at after getting through the turnstile and all that. So yeah, it is definitely it definitely does have the appearance of, you know, uh, a sort of airport area where you would go and wait for a flight or whatever. So yeah, it is definitely very much on par with that, pretty much. Needless to say, it does look phenomenal. What the? This looks like some kind of a unicorn combined with a fucking cat? Dog? I'm not so sure. Does look pretty interesting nonetheless. Or what that is. Looks like some kind of a wall. And overall, this does resemble some kind of art gallery. Which, to be honest, is something you do see in a lot of different liminal spaces. These kinds of just strange art galleries full of very alien, sculptures, very alien um, architecture, structures, that sort of thing. And I don't even know how this is stayed together. Though again, it is the logic of liminal space, so, you know. Liminal spaces do generally seem to use their own logic for handling things that is very different from our own. Needless to say. Here we have the server rooms. And no, I am not going to go down the rows of servers here. I did go down there before. There's nothing too interesting down there. They will say that, one, the use of the cube maps is very, very well done. Like, it definitely looks like somewhere like the reflections do look pretty realistic. If this isn't screen space reflection, but sometimes I do very much get the feeling that this is screen space reflection here. If not, multiple cube maps just stacked on top of each other. And also the animated textures, if I did not notice them before or mention them before, are just really good here too. Nope, none this way. Also a little cart here. And then we come to the end of our journey for now, and unfortunately, as you can see here, they did not add anything from last time. Which, needless to say, is kind of unfortunate. Like, I was expecting quite a bit more to be added after it left beta. But unfortunately, that does not appear to be the case. And, it apparently they either have just abandoned it altogether, or just cannot work on it for now for some reason. Hopefully it is the latter. Hopefully they just cannot work on it because, like, they just have a job or PC blew up or some other shit going on. And hopefully they will be back in the future to, actually finish off this map. And that's what I hope is going on. I really hope they did not just abandon it at this level and just not finish it. Especially because, as you can see here, this entire area does indicate that there is supposed to be some kind of a story. Like, not only is it just so pronouncedly different from the rest of the map and the rest of the areas to the point where, you could really tell that some shit's supposed to go down here, but it's just very, very different to the point where you can really tell that this is supposed to be wildly different from, the base map. And or, early on you're supposed to have this sense of security, and then all of a sudden it's ripped away in a flash like this. But yeah, I really do hope that they didn't just abandon it and leave it on this unfinished state, and that they are gonna go back and finish it. Hopefully, again, that is the case. Not really sure. Um, but yeah, hopefully that is the case with this map, and they will at least, try to actually release more content in the future. But overall, what can we conclude from this? Well, for one thing, not a whole lot has changed. I mean, yeah, they did add, more servers. Well, no, they add more colliders, and, did make some tweaks here or there, but other than that, they didn't really add a whole lot. Like, entire hallways are just not really finished off, or are still, under construction at least. And there seems to be more issues with colliders now. I keep getting stuck in a lot of them now, just from jumping. And there's also just a lot of other shit going on now too. But none of it really has improved the map, except, mildly. But needless to say, despite all this, it is still one of the best looking maps in VRChat, and the best looking liminal space world VRChat. I mean, Organism is just the entire Organism series is a technological marvel to look at, being one of the biggest maps in VRChat, or three of the biggest maps in VRChat, and just managing to cram so much into such a ginormous VRChat world like that, and do it as flawlessly as they did. However, for the visual side, this far, far surpasses it. Just simply by the introduction of, light probes and just more, more natural lighting, or rather more fake dynamic lighting in general. And yeah, it is a little bit more generic. Not gonna lie, it is your generic organism style, or rather generic backroom style world. But even then, it is still pretty good. And I definitely would consider it a pretty top tier map, to be honest. Especially when you take into account just the level of detail and visual fidelity this map has. It is really quite incredible, for sure. Um, but yeah, overall, I really do hope that they at least do eventually, when they, get over what exactly is going on over there, they do manage to, actually update it and add more shit for once. Um, just because, as much as I love this map, it's a little lacking in terms of overall, structure, or rather in terms of overall content, and, what they did actually, promise that they were gonna do. Well, actually, no, it's not lacking content at all. Now, there's quite a bit here, but the updates are what are lacking, to be honest. And, they could have done a lot more with them. But even then, still a really good world. And I still, um, except for, again, the choir issues and all that, but still, it is really worth checking out. Now, I am going to recalculate the overall score because I do think it has dropped a little bit with the recent collider issues. But yeah, the overall score is so first up, aesthetics. Aesthetics are once again, as I said, really good. Um, it is the best looking visual. It is the best looking liminal space world in VRChat as of now, at least for laying and fidelity wise. Um, the optimization is pretty neat too. I barely have any issues running this world most of the time. It runs like a champ. And overall level design though is where it really takes its bill because of the whole collider issue. Um, and it is though it's not that bad. It is noticeably worse than it was at first. So I would say overall it's now like an 8.3 out of 10. It is the best looking liminal space map, but in terms of overall quality, Organism is just far better. It's just a far better map quality wise. Even without the visual fidelity of this, Organism is just far better quality wise. It doesn't have as many collider issues. Um, there are also other issues that this map has too, like texture warping and shit that are at least less noticeable in Organism. I mean, Organism still does have noticeable issues because it too uses the Pro Builder technique of production. Like it still uses Pro Builder to build out the map, and then Dr. Moreau will add non-Pro Builder assets into it. Um, so there is still that whole issue, but it is a lot better than this. In terms of build quality and all that. This kind of shit is really just kind of what makes me mad because, people have such great ideas and then they'll just kind of just waste the potential and not really add anything. If it is a case of waste potential. Again, it could be a case of, just their PC blowing up or whatever else is going on. So I am not going to jump to conclusions, though if it is a case of waste potential, I will be particularly pissed off with this one because back then, when I first reviewed this map, I just raved over how good it was. And now to see it just, not live up to it, yeah, that kind of sucks. But, whatever. Though, if you do want something off the beaten path in terms of liminal space maps, do at least give this one a try a bit. So you know. Um, yeah, that was pretty much it for this stream. What will I be doing next time? Well, tomorrow I might be actually doing the Smile Room. No promises on that. I mean, we are still not out of the woods as far as, various behind the scenes shit is concerned. But, I might be able to do it. I might be able to actually pull it off, successfully tomorrow. So, that might actually happen. Now, granted, will I be doing it at my usual time? You can't exactly bet on that. I mean, I am kind of tending to, stream later right now. Just simply because, that's just when I get on VRChat is later in the day now. Because I just do a lot of shit earlier on. So, it might be a little later than, my earlier usual time, but even still, I will probably do it. So, you do have something to look forward to tomorrow. And if I don't, then, we could do something else for Halloween Horror Fest. I don't really know. Um, but yeah, those are, but hopefully I do actually manage to actually do, fucking, um, Smile Room for once. Hopefully. But I gotta get going. You pretty much know the drill. I can't stay here forever. So thank you all for watching this wonderful stream here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, night, week, whatever. And I will see you all tomorrow for potentially Smile Room or something else if it's not Smile Room. So yeah. Good night, everyone. Stay classy, everyone, and good night. And I'll see you all tomorrow for Smile Room potentially. And if it's not Smile Room, then something else instead. So yeah. See you there, everyone.